A River State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has granted an order of interlocutory injunction restraining Martin Amaewhule and 24 other lawmakers from parading and holding themselves as members of the River State House of Assembly. The court, presided over by Justice C.N. Wale, also issued an interlocutory injunction against Governor Siminalayi Fubara, the State Attorney General of River State, and the Chief Judge of River State, who are the 26th to 28th defendants in the suit. They are restrained from dealing with, interfacing, or accepting any resolution, bill, or other actions from Amaewhule and the 24 others. Now, Ndamzi, what is your take on these recent developments in the River State's legislative arm of government? What do you have to say to that?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to react by saying that interlocutory applications are equitable reliefs made by either parties to the court. Okay? Equitable in the sense that it is a relief that both parties to a suit can file pending the determination of the substantive suit in court. Reasons for filing interlocutory applications most times can be when a matter is of extreme urgency, and also if it affects the legal rights of parties. So either parties can apply to a court asking for a particular matter to be maintained and status quo of parties. You know, these are reasons why interlocutory applications are made to court. But basically, interlocutory injunction, as it applies to the discourse, it's a temporary relief granted a party pending when the substantive suit in court will be heard. So it is nothing bad. It is the court processes.
All right.
Yes.
Now let's look at the court processes. Prior to this time, you'd recall that there was a subsisting order of interlocutory injunction given by Justice Omotosho of the Federal High Court, recognizing Amaewhule and the others as River State House of Assembly members, and also recognizing Amaewhule as the Speaker of River State House of Assembly. You recall that happened. Now, moving forward, you know, there was an ex parte order by Justice Wale. I'm not bringing in the one of Eddie Sinehi because Eddie Sinehi has resigned and vacated that seat. So now we are looking at the one of Okojombo now and the three others. Now, when you look at it, the Okojombo and two others, sorry. Yes. Now, when Okojombo emerged, he also got an ex parte order by Justice Wale, recognizing him and recognizing Amaewhule. And then, after the ex parte order, now this order has come up. If I may ask, Ndamzi, is this right that courts of coordinate jurisdiction are giving order against order, countering each other? Would you call that judicial rascality? Is it right in this context, in this discourse?
Thank you very much. But we need to, first of all, lay proper foundation to these orders and where they are emanating from. Because equity does not act in vain. Equity, it's always done with the intent of protecting a legal right.
Okay.
Okay, and if you look at section 46(1) of the 1999 Constitution as amended, it gives the Federal High Court, High Court of the FCT, and the state high courts concurrent jurisdiction solely on matters affecting fundamental rights. okay? And one will deduce that the affected House of Assembly members, you know, their legal rights have been affected, okay? And they approached the Federal High Court for an order restraining the other party from acting otherwise. Yes, you asked if it amounts to judicial rascality. Yes, the State High Court and the Federal High Court in this instance have both concurrent jurisdiction to hear the matter. But in my opinion as a lawyer, I think the judiciary need to look inwards and do a rejig, a proper rejig of the system, so we will not have conflicting orders coming from court of equal jurisdictions. This would be my take on whether it is, I wouldn't totally call it a judicial rascality, but parties are within their rights to approach the courts in turn that have jurisdiction to hear the matter.
If the matter is already in court and an order has been given, should a court of coordinate jurisdiction still entertain the same matter?
Ordinarily, it shouldn't be so according to the rules of court. It shouldn't be so. If a matter is before a court of competent jurisdiction and same matter is brought to another court of competent jurisdiction, if the question and issues before the court and the facts are the same, I think what the court ordinarily need to do is to transfer the matter back to where it emanated from, instead of hearing both.
Now, in line with this conversation, what you just said, what has played out currently in Rivers State? Is it right? The orders and counter orders, particularly by Justice Wale right now?
Yes, you know, the problem, like I have advocated in different forums, the problem is a constitutional problem.
Okay.
Yes, constitutional in the sense that, okay, if I will borrow a leaf, looking at the local government concerns, you see that Section 7 is not very clear. It's maintained, it saddled issues of legislative functions about the local government and the House of Assembly. So at that point, you see the governors using their powers rascally to decide on what happens to the local government, the state joint account and all that. Then in this particular issue, Section 1091G, okay, enumerated that any member who decomes from the political party he or she, you know, got elected, at that point, vacates his seat. But the question now is, how will he and she vacate? Is it just because he or she decamped, he should just walk away? No, there are procedures. And you see what has recently happened in court. The PDP have filed a joinder
to say that they did not receive any.
They did not receive any, and it is the onus is on the adverse party now to prove that actually there was a formal defection. So it's a constitutional crisis and also a question before the court to determine.
All right. Joining me on the show this morning is Ugochukwu Oputa, a political analyst. Good morning, Mr. Ugochukwu.
Good morning, Laurentia. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. What is your take on this development in Rivers State right now?
Well, you know, following up on the question, the conversation, you see, like he also stated here that there are processes, you should build the background. Now, you can't take away what is happening from what happened on the 12th of December, when the court judgment, a court order recognizing Edison here as speaker up. You can't take that away because on the assembly members, in quotes, defected to the APC on the 11th of December. And then a judgment by an order by Justice Danagogo recognized Edison as the Speaker of that House. Now, upon the intervention by the President, the parties were asked to, you know, shield their sword and, as the governor would call it, political solution. And then Edison here resigned. And in that his resignation letter, you could see there that he resigned as Speaker. You know, from his own letter he wrote, he resigned as Speaker of the House. It's also good to know, because I did my findings and I found out that the order by Justice Danagogo was never appealed nor vacated. Because maybe they had assumed that, you know, the time for peace had come in and all that. It was never appealed. And if you listen to the statement made by Okojombo upon his emergence, he is not just dropping from the moon. The last sitting Edison had, they adjourned Synodine, as they call it, you know. And Okojombo is drawing his strength from that house as constituted or as recognized by Justice Danagogo, you know. And what Justice Wale has done by the injunction he had given, and I thank God that my colleague here have also stated that the court has coordinate jurisdiction on the matter, you know, is to further said, no, let the status quo remain like this upon this until the suit is fully determined. However, when you look at it from the eyes of the, from our understanding of the law, and also how he have also tried to explain here, the laws clearly stated that upon defection, you vacate your seats. The first argument some of those assembly members gave was that there were internal crises in the PDP in a way to justify the defection. And when it got very intense, we started hearing that there are now being claims that they didn't really defect. And the actions of PDP also at the national level, making that joinder. But lawyers have this statement that where there is precedence to issues, it's very easy to determine. I took my time to study the judgments from similar case of now called in Cross River. And even political parties tried to do this interloping. That of Cross River, when they were asked to defect, to vacate their seats, the APC that they defected to told the judge that these people are not registered members in their party, just like what PDP is attempting to do now, to sway the decision. Told the judge that they are not registered members in their party, and so you can't say that they've defected. In the judgment, the judge said, rebuked them for deliberately trying to mislead the court, that these persons defected openly, waving the party flag. And it was obvious. Now, I want to ask also, the part that captures the vacation of their seat or defection did not expressly say they must be, you must see their registry in the party where they registered, or did not say you must confirm that they sent a resignation or defection letter to their party. One of the major processes is that defection is announced at the chambers through a written letter most times to the Speaker or the Senate President or Speaker of the House, as the case may be. And in one of the sittings by Martin Amaewhule, he clearly stated, at least through video records, where he said that the so number of persons have sent in their letter of defection, that he's in possession of it. He announced that defection on the House when he was Speaker. So you don't need to say if they've registered in their ward at differently, if they are registered. No, that formality has occurred. Now the argument is if they defect, who declares their seats vacant. Personally, from my understanding of the law, I feel that it's an automatic process. But because shall vacate. But then, if you want to make it look more beautiful or maybe more formal, that's when they say the speaker would announce, will vacate, they announce their seat vacant. Also know that through common law that we understand that you cannot be a judge in your own case, per se. The speaker was part of the people, Martin Amaewhule, that defected. And it was on that same basis that the remaining members that did not defect sought the intervention of the court. And the court now rightfully recognized Edison Ehie as the speaker. And then Edison Ehie now carried out that official ceremony of declaring their seats vacant. So the process that requires the defect and the process that also requires that their seat should be declared by the speaker has all been observed, backed up by orders of court.
All right. Now, if I may ask you, based on what you have said, Mr. Gochukwu, you know, it's one thing to, if you are legally married to a woman, you've done all the legal,
right, I know.
Yes, both traditional and legal, particularly in court, for example, even at the traditional level. And then probably you have a misunderstanding with that woman and you come out to say, you know, probably on social media or whatever, you come out to say, I have divorced this woman, I'm no longer with her, even if you're separated. Are you still legally bound to that woman? Even though you've made that speech, are you still legally bound to that woman?
Yes, but it's a different scenario to this. In our legislative houses, defection, the major essence of defection is through announcement under chambers. Even if you go to your ward and resign, if it has not been announced, you properly write to the speaker. It's not binding. So defection, there is an announcement for defection. And that announcement was done by Martin Amaewhule, and he acknowledged receiving letters.
And now, the PDP, apparently in their constitution, also has a provision for notice of resignation, of resignation from the party. So if, let's say, for example, there have not been official notice of resignation like the PDP is saying, and they are still insisting these are our members, they have not officially resigned from the party. And then on the other hand, can the APC lay claim so far that at any point in time, probably they are having meetings or conventions or anything, that these lawmakers have been participants of any APC meetings? Now,
in the APC constitution, part of the requirement to attend the activities that a member shall be. So for you to attend the activities, you ought to be a member of that party. This set of members attended an APC Thanksgiving at
Thanksgiving is open to people.
You can't say it's open to people. I am making a point. You can't say it's open to people.
Whenever you say Thanksgiving,
yeah, wait. It was organized by the party. It's a party activity.
Okay.
It was organized by the party. So it's not like
who was doing the Thanksgiving?
The party, the APC party, headed by Tony Okocha. It was a party event.
What was the Thanksgiving about?
The Thanksgiving was as regards the their inauguration as a caretaker committee, because that was about some months after their inauguration. That was a Thanksgiving event, and so many people have been doing diverse after he spoke against the simplified Thanksgiving and all. So the Thanksgiving was as regards the party. It was a party activity. That's number one. Number two, this acting chairman of the APC had done series of publications where he has sought to protect its members as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. So it's not a case of if they were publicly seen or privately seen. No, they've attended party functions. They've been acknowledged as members by the state's acting chairman of the party. And however, My point is not even that these activities are in contention. No, there is a judgment where the judge did not even seek to meddle into it. He said, you defected publicly and waved the flag of that party. As the case of Cross River, where the members, about 20-something members, were declared vacant. So that's the position on this, that even if these other things you're counting, even if it goes against them, yes, which I've pointed out that they are there, but without that, the fact that the announcement was made, they waved the new party flag, they wrote a letter acknowledging. In fact, there's one other point. There's also a document, an affidavit made by Martin Amaewhule, where he was, making, as regards one of the court order they were seeking after Edison here, where he also acknowledged to his own statement that they defected to the APC. So it's not something that we have to argue if they did or no. It's not hide and seek. This is a public domain.
All right.